When you travel with Viking, you very quickly realise there are a lot more than just beautifully appointed ships and spectacular destinations. It's very much the thinking person's cruise. And I'm about to start my journey on the British Isles Explorer, which begins right here in London. And there's an excursion that you can take that I find fascinating. I can't wait to share it with you. Britain's war history is well known, or is it? Imagine being able to learn about the strategies employed by one of Britain's greatest strategists, Winston Churchill. Well, that's what you can do with this excursion, which takes you into Churchill's war rooms, which happens to be in a secret bunker. Your Viking guide shares the story of World War II through the eyes of the British people and shares the strategies that Britain and its allies employed to defeat Nazi Germany.
So when you go down there, ladies and gentlemen, remember, we've got a nice place with plumbing and air conditioning in space. You would have had hundreds of people down there. They would have been running around and people smoked incessantly. And Churchill himself liked 10 cigars a day. Churchill gave some of his speeches on the BBC. They set up a recording studio down here so that Churchill could broadcast his speeches, which he had given at Parliament, just across the way there. He gave some of them down here. And also you'll be seeing Churchill's bedroom. That's right, save the best till last, that'll be right at the end. He had special curtains so that if anyone came to visit him who didn't have security clearance, he could pull the curtains to cover the maps that were in his room.
Here you have access to documents and artefacts that uncover the secret world of espionage and the strategies, techniques and bravery of the men and women behind some of the secret missions of the last century. Then, continuing the wartime theme, the tour heads to the Imperial War Museum. This museum was established in the midst of World War I, with the mission of preserving history and telling the stories of all sorts of people from the British Empire and how war directly impacted their lives. It tells exceptional stories of people's wartime experiences through a world-class collection of objects, documents, photography and film. Again, your guide tours you through the exhibits, which tells the tales of those who lived through the Nazi persecution in Europe from 1933 to 1945, and expands on the themes and the background stories, bringing even more meaning to the visit.
Now this tank is the T-34. This was the mainstay of the Soviet Union's armoured thrust. In the height of the fighting in 1941, some of these weren't even painted. They were just raw steel and were sent immediately from the factory straight to the front. But what they did was produce it in incredible numbers. There was a place that was producing the tanks that ended up becoming known as Tankergrad, producing about 2,000 of these tanks a month. The Spitfire was developed in the 1930s by R.J. Mitchell. It was originally going to be called the Shrew. Yes, that wouldn't have been much of a name, but when R.J. Mitchell was told that they'll call it the Spitfire, he said, yeah, they'll probably come up with something as stupid as that. But he based it on wings of birds. He said, they know how to fly better than we do. So that's how you face it. This wonderful elliptical wings gave it a fantastic turn. And it was faster. It was a match for the Messerschmitts during the Battle of Britain. Spitfire lasted throughout the whole war on the British side.
This is a very special experience. Museums like this are so important to us for our future. It's a chance to learn the lessons of the past, the mistakes that were made, and some of the positive things as well, so that hopefully we never make these mistakes again into the future. This is a very special experience. Make sure you take it as you cruise with Viking.